what we discussed in the earlier class, and this diagram, it shows how water is absorbed by roots. Okay, this is what I discussed in the last class. These are the root hairs. So water from the soil is absorbed by the root hair, and it enters into the cortex region. This is the cortex region. So water moves across the cortex cells, then moving across phloem, then it reaches xylem. From xylem it goes up. Okay, upward movement of the water through the xylem. And how this happens is, when water is absorbed from the soil by the root hair cells, here the concentration will be more. Okay, the concentration of the molecules, because water along with the mineral and other salts are absorbed. So what happens is, there will be increase in the concentration, whereas in the cortex this concentration will be lower. The molecules concentration of the molecules will be lesser compared to this region, root hair cell. So naturally, by osmosis, water moves from root hair cells to the cortex cells. Then from cortex it moves across phloem, then it reaches xylem. Okay, so this is what we discussed in the earlier class, and this is also to show the steps. So once water enters the root hairs, the concentration of the water molecules in the root hair cells become more than that of the cortex. So when it occurs, what happens is, due to pressure or the concentration difference, water from the root hair moves to the cortical cells, that is cells of the cortex, by this process called osmosis, and then reaches the xylem. From there, water is transported to a stem and leaves. Okay, so this is the steps. Okay, these are the steps to show how water is transported from root hair cells to xylem. And we'll discuss now about what are the types of movement of water into the root cells. Once water is absorbed by the root hairs, it can move deeper into root layers by two distinct pathways. Okay, once water is absorbed by the root hairs, it can move deeper into root layers by two distinct pathways. One is apoplast pathway, other one is symplast pathway. In apoplast pathway, what happens is, movement of water occurs exclusively through the intercellular spaces and the walls of the cells. Movement of water, it occurs through the spaces that are available between the cells. So that is called intercellular spaces. Inter means in between, cellular, that is, it refers to cells. So in between cells there will be spaces which are called intercellular spaces. So here water moves through these intercellular spaces and also between the walls of the cells. Apoplastic movement does not involve crossing the cell membrane. So water movement is just occurs outside the cell, not through the cell membrane. Okay, so this movement is dependent on the gradient. Gradient, again, it refers to, that is pressure. Okay, dependent on the or concentration. Okay, so this is the diagrammatic representation to show both the pathway. One is apoplast pathway and symplast pathway. So this apoplast pathway, this pink color, it refers to apoplast pathway. You can understand now, water moves through the that is outside the cell through the intercellular spaces. It does not occur inside or through the cytoplasm. Whereas the other one, which is drawn using this green color, it shows that movement of water, it occurs through the that is plasma membrane and across the cytoplasm. Okay, so these are the two types of movement. Apoplastic pathway, this shows outside, that is through the intercellular spaces and the between the cell walls of the cells. But the other one, symplast pathway, it refers to movement of the water across the plasma membrane, that is through the plasma membrane and through the cytoplasm. Okay, and so this is again to explain about symplast pathway. In symplastic movement, the water travels through the cells, as I said earlier, that is through the cytoplasm. Intercellular movement is through the plasmodesmata. That is how this movement is possible. It is through plasmodesmata. Plasmodesmata, it refers to the cytoplasmic thread. Okay, here no, this I'm going back to the diagram. So this is called actually the cytoplasmic strand. Okay, it's a thread or cytoplasmic strand, so through which water moves. Okay, and water enters the cells through the cell membrane, hence the movement is relatively slower. So compared to apoplast pathway, in symplast pathway, the movement of the water molecules is relatively slower. This type of moving materials from the region of higher concentration to that of lower concentration is referred as down the potential gradient. Okay, so down the potential gradient, it refers to movement of the materials from the region of the higher concentration to that of the lower concentration, that is to the region of the lower concentration. This kind of movement is referred as down the potential gradient. So we will move on to the next topic. It is about transpiration. It refers to evaporation of water in plants through stomata in the leaves. Okay, stomata, we learnt already when we learnt about, discussed in detail about the anatomy of leaf, where we learnt about stomata, which refers to openings. Okay, stomata refers to openings found on the surface epidermis. Okay, usually they are found on the undersurface of the leaves. Why these stomata are present? That is for the purpose of getting the water evaporated out of the plant. Okay, when there is more water, water needs to be removed out. Okay, so that is done through this process called transpiration. So stomata are open in the day and closed at night. Stomata, they remain open only during daytime and they close at night time. The opening and closing of the stomata is due to the change in the turgidity of the guard cells. Okay, we learned this also. Openings are protected on both the sides by bean shaped cells, which are called guard cells. Okay, these guard cells protect the stomata or the openings. Not only that, they help okay, to control the evaporation rate. The rate of evaporation is controlled by these guard cells. So when water enters into the guard cells, what happens is they become turgid, that is they become bulky. Guard cells become bulky, so that stomata open. When the guard cells lose water, when water moves out of the guard cells, what happens is stomata or the guards, that is the guard cells become flaccid and the stomata closes. Okay, it's a very simple thing to concept to understand. When stomata become turgid, when water enters, okay, naturally when water enters into guard cells, stomata, that is guard cells become turgid, they become bulky. Okay, become bigger in size and stomata open. And what happens is when guard cells lose water, when water is moving out from the guard cells, what happens is guard cells become flaccid, that is they become loose, they lose their shape also. Rigidity is also gone and the stomata closes. So this is the structure. So you'll understand, this is the diagram to show the structure of the guard cells, so that stoma can open or close. So this is the turgidity. The guard cells become more turgid, become bulky due to the entering of the water. So stoma is, or stomata are open. Here water is lost from the guard cells, so the opening is closed, stoma is closed. Okay, so this is a simple experiment to show the process of transpiration. You can understand if you close the plant, okay, potted plant with a cover, polythene or transparent cover, you can understand after some time, you can see water got evaporated, and you can see the water also, and that is a vapor on the or inside the cover. Okay, this is a simple experiment to show the process of transpiration.